Okay, if you ever wanted to ask yourself why the stars in these found footage type movies are always white people, it's because we're dumb enough to go on the internet and do our research whenever some creepy shit's happening, rather than just running out of the house, going somewhere far, and say, you know what, I'll come back in a week. I'll come back in a week when things just die down. Unfriended is a new horror movie that's kind of in the vein of found footage movies. I mean, it's made very cheaply. It has nobody recognizable in the movie. And it very much has a real look to it. It starts with a video showing the suicide of this girl named Laura Barnes. And then these group of friends get on Skype and basically start talking to each other, having conversations, but there's a seventh member with no profile picture, no video, that they try to get rid of constantly. So they finally get to the conclusion of, okay, who the hell is this person? And they find out it's Laura, which is like, wait a minute, she's dead. What's going on? And so, as you can imagine with some of these horror movies, they each get killed off one after another as they try to figure out, why is this happening? What is going on? Why is this happening to us? Now, normally, I don't like to go out of my way to see horror movies because there aren't that many out there that are just very interesting. And when I saw the trailers for Unfriended, I was like, this looks so fucking stupid. Some dead girl who stalks her friends on Facebook and Skype and starts killing them off. That's just, it's ridiculous. But it got good word of mouth, and I was like, okay, I gotta see this just to see for myself. And it was pretty much what I expected it to be. I didn't hate this movie, but it's just not anything very special. However, let me say I will give the movie props for trying to be a little different than a lot of those found footage movies. Because with the found footage genre, you're accustomed to someone holding a camera, shaking it back and forth, recording everything, and then it cuts off here and there, time lapses, whatever. This entire movie is like a bottle film. It basically shows a girl's MacBook Pro desktop as she's chatting with her friends on Skype. It has all the classic sound effects. It pretty much captures the way young people talk to people over the internet. So it's very unique from a lot of horror movies out there, except that I kind of saw this done already with a recent Modern Family episode where Claire and the rest of the family are trying to figure out what happened to Haley. It all takes place through a computer desktop. But for a horror movie, this is definitely something new and unique. The only problem is it just falls into the same trappings as a lot of shitty horror movies do today. You got the stereotyped characters, you got the blonde girl, you got the fat guy, you got the douchebag, you got the innocent girl, or so we think. And their characters are only defined by their stereotypes that we've seen over the years. And they just aren't that interesting. Some of them are just downright terrible. I know that they try to get people who aren't actors so they can feel like real people, but some of them just came across as really bad actors. And some of these characters just do stupid things that they shouldn't do, and even when they're told not to do it, they go ahead and do it anyway because they're white people, and when something spooky's happening, they just try to figure out what's going on rather than leaving. And they're just put in these scenarios where it's like they have the option to do this one thing, this one little thing, but they choose not to do it. And it also doesn't help that a lot of the scares in this movie are jump scares. There's a lot of nothing happening. It's a lot of showing this girl's desktop as she's browsing through Spotify. She's messaging someone on iMessage. She's going through Facebook, Skype. It's a lot of that. I understand that's trying to build up a suspense to lead into the big scary moments, but the characters aren't that interesting to where you don't really care. And when the jump scares happen, it's just like, oh, well, okay, whatever. It's like when you watch a Hitchcock movie, you're so invested in the characters, you like these people, it keeps you from being bored, and then when the scares do happen, they're effective. Same thing with Jaws. Sometimes there's a lot of nothing happening. There are a few jump scares in Jaws, but because the characters are so interesting, you don't mind it. Here, it's just another generic horror movie, and I didn't hate this movie. I was just like, yeah, this is nothing really special. outside of the way they chose to show the movie, that to differentiate it from all the found footage stuff. But it falls into the same trappings as these found footage movies. And then it does something at the end that's almost criminal. I'm not going to say what happens if you haven't seen a lot of horror movies, but if you have, you could probably guess it from the description I'm giving. But they have this thing where they cheat the story, where it's like, oh, you as an audience thought you knew this thing about something. Well, here's what actually happened. And it's supposed to make the audience go, oh, I did not see that coming. What a shock. But they fail on that because it's like some other characters within the movie are just like, what? This never happened before? It's like, this thing's been around for a while and you're telling me these other people in the movie never bothered to look into it? Oh my God. So that and the last 24 frames of this movie just make the ending very predictable, lousy, cliched, that it almost ruined the movie. But in the grand scheme of things, Unfriended is just mediocre. I don't hate it. I don't have any hatred towards it. I'm just bored a lot of times. I can see some people definitely enjoying this and getting scared probably, but it just didn't work for me. And I was willing to go into it with an open mind, ready to accept the movie because of the word of mouth I heard, but I was just like, yeah, this is not working for me. So again, I don't hate it. I don't think it's a god-awful movie. So I'm going to say watch it at your own risk. If you see it at home with some friends and at night, it might creep you out because I saw this alone, and I feel like I probably would have enjoyed it more if I saw it with someone else. But for me, it just didn't work for me, and the characters just, most of them are just so shitty that I was just like, yeah, whatever. That's my review for Unfriended. Leave a comment and tell me what you thought of the movie. If you've seen it, what did you think? Like, subscribe, go check out my video blog channel. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, go like me on Facebook. And this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there is only one.